Attention, attention. Attention. Attention.
Next week, an evil space ruler seeks the services of a doctor.
Oh, it's gonna be a big night tonight. Hit that curtain!
We welcome you to Guitar Talk Universe.
Discover the widest range of Okay. Hold on. Wait. Okay, I think we're gonna first. Let's add to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John DeShane. What's up, bro?
What's up?
And we also have a special.
First, let's
add to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John DeShane. What's up, bro? And Guitar Hack doesn't have his echo cancellation on. And we also have a special.
First, let's add to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John DeShane. What's up, bro?
Hack, are you okay? Oh, okay,
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay.
What's happening? Well, happy Friday, everybody. I was just greeting some people here on the chat.
Okay, I think we're gonna try something. Somebody's.
That ain't me.
You want echo cancellation on?
Please.
Yeah.
It's on.
Hello, check 1 2. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, you all may be wondering, and I don't want any rumors to start, but where's Steve? All right.
Where is Steve?
Let me just set the record straight. Steve and I have parted ways, and I'll tell you why. I didn't know this, but that fucker's, first of all, he's Canadian. Second of all, second of all, I was talking to him yesterday. I think y'all heard the story about my Thanksgiving and nobody brought deviled eggs and how upset I was. Well, apparently Steve Brand does not care for deviled eggs whatsoever, so he had to go. Right now, there's people texting their friends going, Quentin and Steve broke up over deviled eggs. Now, Steve is, he's just not feeling well. I'll just leave it there. He's fine. We're fine. We're still lovers on this. I asked,
you're a fucking lunatic. I love you, brother.
I still ask Randy Price to come in. Apparently, Randy and Jimmy, apparently they'll stick their tongues anywhere. So they've got some type of crud. Ryan's just doing a chilled out thing with his family. So I called these other two guys. Hack wanted $300. John only wanted $20. John only wanted $20 in a handy, so we worked that out. And then,
handy is key.
So I'll be doing a lot of legato because I'm Todd.
Mm-hmm. I'm satisfied.
Oh dear Lord.
Hey everybody.
And apparently, yeah. Okay, I think we're going to try out one backing track, and then we're just going to shoot the shit. Everybody's been away from the YouTubes for like a week, man. I'm like, there's nobody on, man.
Oh, my God.
And, okay, so I don't know how. I'm going to put this backing track as loud as it'll go. So, let me just try. All right, tell me first, can y'all hear that? Can y'all hear that?
Yep.
Okay. It's an A. I guess I'll start. Wait, let me get back to StreamYard.
Make sure you got your wah on.
No, you're kidding me. You're going to play a commercial?
It's a breadcrumb.
Yeah, cheap bastard. up next?
Not working. All I got's clean.
That was about the end anyway. So
That's a good fun.
yeah. Let me turn the wall off.
Oh, it's always on.
There you go.
Okay.
All right, put the guitars away. Let's get.
Yeah, maybe let's get that way. So what's up, everybody? Have a good Well, I don't even know if you all do Thanksgiving. You're like commie Canada, or I don't even know what you got to do up there.
And we do it a week or two before.
Ah,
So a month ago.
Yeah.
so you murdered the Indians and took their lands like a month before we did?
Yeah.
At some point, conquering and ruling turned into a bad thing.
Yeah, manifest destiny, bitches. Yeah, they gave us maize, and we gave them a pretty blanket soaked with smallpox.
Yeah.
Want a case of beer? I'll take
Yeah.
it. Okay.
Man, those are some snotty looking fret markers in the Les Paul there, Mr. Hack.
Aren't they? You know what though? I took this thing out. I played a show last Saturday and I took it out, and this thing just plays itself. You know, when you get those guitars that are just set up so well and just so easy to play, and it just sounds great, you know. And
Yeah.
So yeah, this is not the coolest thing, the fret markers, but the guitar more than makes up for it. So yeah, that's why we call it snots.
Yeah. So how many Les Pauls are you up to now?
Okay, I have to
You
think
got to
about it.
think about it. Oh, God. It's got to be at least 5.
It's either 5 or 6.
Ah.
Yeah, but they're all different, right? They're not.
Hey, you're preaching to the choir here. Of course they are.
Yeah, they're all different.
But, you know, they're all standards, aren't they? You don't have like a custom.
No.
You're a big standard guy, and
I got
the kind of 60s neck, and
I got 2 standards, Blackie and a 50s tobacco burst. I got a traditional. It's a cherry burst, so that's at 3. Then I just got a Les Paul Studio modern, so there's 4. I got Snots is 5. This is an old classic from like 2005. And then I've got the RO. So how many is that? 6?
but you got it's not Les Paul, but you got a 339 still, right?
I have a 339. I'm actually thinking about selling that one because I don't really play it much,
Yeah.
and it would fetch a good dollar because
Yeah, I
that was
bet.
the year they made they came out that one year with the satin finish and block inlays, and I don't think they did that very often. So
Black Friday sales for me, I just posted this on Facebook, would be at Oxmoor Mall, because that's where all the late model expensive cars are, and those are the ones that I break into. So Oxmoor Mall. Nobody gets my sense of humor. I mean, yeah.
Nobody bought anything for Black Friday. No gear, nothing.
There's a bunch of YouTubers that are like, just here's all the Black Friday deals from Sweetwater and Tolman. I'm like, yeah. But I don't see anything, NAM's in January. So if they're going to do something for Christmas, they generally put it out in like, September, October-ish for the Christmas season. So I haven't seen anything like mind-blowing. Unless Fender's going to do a new color Strat or something. Mark it
Got
up
a
$100.
question from All Dave All Night. What's the deal with the inlays on that guitar? So this is a early 2000s classic, and
Hold on. There we go.
so this is an early 2000s classic, and it was it used to have on the pickguard in gold embossed, it says 1960s, so it's supposed to be like a 1960s remake or whatever. But I guess they figured when guitars get older, the inlays go green for some reason, and that's why they did this. So I don't know, but I bought this used. I tried it in the store, and it just sounded phenomenal. It's got Sheptone Heartbreaker pickups on it. Sheptone pickups are amazing, and they were in here, and it's got the Jimmy Page wiring. It's just a really good guitar. And like I said, if it's a really good guitar, yeah, these aren't the best looking things, but
with really, if
it.
it had white, is my mic on? If it had like really white looking fret markers, I think it would throw the balance off on that guitar. I mean, with the cream color and just that finish, if they were really white, I think it would,
I mean, these guitars, these early 2000 classics, like they're really good. They were like sort of a hidden treasure or hidden gem in the Gibson line. Okay, if you come across these, I mean, if you can get past the inlays, these are really good guitars.
Now you've seen all pictures of when I wore spandex. I had an 81 Les Paul Custom. Dude, when I got that guitar, and this is full price back then, $850.
Wow.
$850. And I didn't want gold hardware, and for whatever reason, our store owner ordered it with chrome hardware. And even back then, I could not understand why I couldn't find a Les Paul Custom Cherry Sunburst that looked great and played great. I mean, nowadays it's like, even they just all seem to be hit and miss with production models, which I don't get it. But man, that thing was heavy. But you wear a 3-inch leather strap. Get over it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But here's what. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say, like, it's funny about. I find this more with Les Pauls, like, because it's, I guess, what I try the most. But it's funny how you can pick up, like, 3, 4 of them, and one of them will speak to you, and the other ones are kind of just like lame ducks, right? And you kind of know within the first 30 seconds or not if it's a good one.
Amen. Like with my Strats, I told the story about there were probably a dozen American Strats hanging on the wall, and first thing I did is walk by them and just did that along the strings, because some of them would just ring out, others were kind of muffled sounding, and it's weird. But I was thinking about this. I think I told you on a custom you have a fret marker at the first fret, right?
Yeah.
I always said it just kind of throws me off a little bit. I don't know why. Last night it finally dawned on me. Your 12th fret, hold up your guitar. All right, your 12th fret is a fret marker, right? That's the halfway point. That's like, it's the same as your open strings. So after after that halfway point, the first fret after that, you don't have a fret marker at the 13th fret.
No.
That's why it throws me off.
Yeah, the next one's at 15.
Right, after the nut or the halfway point.
Which would be like, the same spacing as this. Yeah.
Right, yeah. So anyway.
Yeah,
but no, I haven't seen any, I've seen Fractal and everybody, they're doing some updates via software. But I haven't seen anything exciting for, Black Friday or
I did get something for Black Friday. A gear thing. So I don't know why I was using this Pod Express thing for a while, and it was, for whatever reason, tonight it doesn't work. That's why I wasn't jamming with you guys, because I got no effects.
Yeah.
But I picked up, I don't know if you ever heard of this, and I only heard about it this week, these multi-effects units that have IRs and built-in cabs and all this kind of stuff that don't cost a fortune. It's a company called Vailton.
Yeah.
And there's all kinds of videos and stuff, and they've got different models and whatever.
That's what Steve uses. Or it's similar. We were talking about this. It's kind of like World Music makes all your import guitars. They make Epiphone and Schecter and everybody, right? I think there's some factory in China that they just make 4 or 5 different brands, and they're all anywhere from 3, 4, $500 that do everything. And they came out with a new one that's doing all that amp cloning stuff that are just amazing for 400 or $500.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not gonna. I mean, I've seen demos of it. It sounds pretty good. It's not like up there with a neural DSP or anything, but you know, for just playing around at home, it's got some really good tones to it. It's got a bunch of amps in it, and it's this. You can pick the amp, and you can pick the cab, and then you can pick what effects you want to throw on it. There's a bunch of effects, and
your microphone and microphone placement, all that shit.
Well, no, that it doesn't have. That's a little more high end. It doesn't do the microphone placement thing, but I've seen enough demos of. There was a guy being one of the Anderton videos with a neural, and the neural sounded better, but it's not like head and shoulders better.
$1,000 better.
A little better. Well, it was like literally 6 times more money.
Oh my God.
Didn't sound 6 times better. It did sound better though. And it has more features and more things you can do with it, blah blah blah, right? But for it's like $300, right? It's like shit, Black Friday deals. So yeah.
Now, John,
here tomorrow.
John, you're getting a new amp, right?
I am. Yes.
Any idea when that's coming in? Or Dan Gorman? Dan, I don't think anybody knows that Rat song. Sorry.
What amp did you get, John?
I got.
And hey, John, I never met you in person. They're in person this way.
You two guys are both in Canada. Don't you know each other?
Yeah,
we do. Yeah. We're actually neighbors.
Yes.
So what amp is this?
Your name precedes yourself, brother. I'm glad to be on the same panel with you.
Nice to meet you. What amp did you get, John?
I got a Head First Alta 100.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody's heard of it. It's from Jason Tong. He's an amp builder out of Australia.
Oh, okay.
He has U.S. distribution on it, and basically it's a late 70s, early 80s 2203 Marshall.
Okay.
With all the mods and the bright cap and all that stuff on it.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Steve Brand just messaged me. He says, hey, thanks to everybody for telling him to get well and all that good stuff. We miss you, Steve.
Well, you could have put that in the chat. I mean,
even though you don't like deviled eggs.
So this is just a head? Have you got a cab to play it through? Or
yeah, typically for our show, I'll run a wet dry wet rig. So right here is it's a plexi, basically, Sir plexi, and I've got the main cab here. Right next to it is the wet cab, and over there I've got another wet cab.
Oh wow! And you're micing everything, obviously.
Everything's mic'd up and then brought in through a Roadcaster, right?
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Roadcasters. I was looking at those things. They're still really. I think the cheapest one is like $600 or something.
It's the 2. Yeah, the Roadcaster 2 is the one that kind of pulls it all together and makes it presentable, for what we're due here.
Yeah.
But I mean, Steve and Q here, they do all right with, alternatives. So
yeah.
I don't know if it helps when I point at the Headrush MX5. Thank you for Sean Hawkey. He fucking gifted me that, man.
What a cool dude, man.
I know,
That's
man.
awesome, man.
But I still have, you see the Digitech is sitting right there. It hadn't moved yet.
It's waiting to get back into circulation.
Yeah, I need to get the Yaya in the effects loop because I know John misses the Yaya.
I always like the Yaya. It's good.
Oh, it's all fun. I mean, and people ask me, do I like it? I like it better than the Digitech, but these two guys will tell you there's nothing like plugging into a real tube amp and moving air. There's just, these things sound great on YouTube and everything, but when you're in a room, Hack talks about rehearsals where he's playing through a couple of 412s, and it's like, dude, I want the band to go away so I can just play Like,
Well,
that's
when
what
I-
my guitar should sound like and feel. The feel is the whole thing.
when I used to, I don't play with Rebel Charm anymore, but when I used to, I was the only guitar player. So I would run out on my pedal board to an ABY box, and I would go into a Mezzodual rectifier on one side, and then on the other side, I would be going into a DSL 100-watt Marshall DSL head, both on 412 cabs, and they were flanking the drummer. And then I would stand right in the middle, and it was
Nice.
fucking glorious.
Nice.
It wasn't wet dry; it was wet because I didn't.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
but
Stereo's
it's
just
still
as good.
holy shit,
Yeah.
man.
And
I
even
got some videos of that, and it sounds amazing.
what other people also don't realize when you're playing, and I'm sure he didn't have them on 8 or 9, but when you're loud through a couple of 412s, you got to be able to handle that. It's like driving a race car, pedal to the metal. It's a different way of
But
because some
Q,
people
I
were
mean,
just like,
that's-
oh my god, it's just
anybody of our era. I mean, that was part and parcel of it, right?
right. Yeah,
You
yeah.
had
Yeah,
do
where
it,
to
right?
stand.
And
But you know what? If you're in a big room, like, I mean, we'd be in a pretty big room, and the drummer, Mike, that I played, he was a phenomenal drummer, and he played really hard. It didn't feel like it was super loud. You know what I mean? It just felt like you were, and I mean, I'd be running the heads around like 6,
Mhm.
5, 6, but it
Yep.
didn't feel like it because you're in a big room. You got live drums and a bass, and you got the vocals coming through a PA, and it just matched everything else. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't beat that. And kids today, I mean, it's a different time, right?
Kids today with your ones and your zeros.
Well, whatever. If people
Oh,
are
yeah.
making music, that's all good, right?
Yeah, as long as you're playing, right?
Yeah, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Whatever you use to make that happen is great. It's like all the newer stuff there with is it Polyphia and all
Your
those kids there.
math rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You know what?
Tolson
It's-
Abbasi, Animals as
yeah,
Leaders.
it's like
Yeah.
good for you guys, right? I'm an old school player, and
I got to hear. Hack always says a good song is a good song. I got to hear some melody, maybe a story, and like all the Cookie Monster vocals. Like, why you guys so angry all the time?
well, those are fine too. But I mean, a good song is a good song. That's the most important thing.
Yeah,
I mean, Randy sent me today a clip of Wolfgang Van Halen improvising, right? And he's got it, man.
Yeah.
He's so good. But his songs to me are just they're
Yeah.
not great, right? So I've denied myself or the whole Mammoth experience because I can't. I'm not a guy to fast forward to the solo anymore. It's got to be a good song that makes you want to move.
Yeah, there's no shortage of good music. And like one thing that really irks me is when people our age say, "Yeah, there's been nothing good since 1995 or whatever." It's like, dude,
Bullshit.
it's absolute bullshit. There's so much good stuff out there. You just ain't looking for it.
That's right. Because it's not on the radio.
Exactly. You just
modern
gotta look
rock,
for it. Right.
Dude.
So much alternative stuff or quote unquote alternative stuff is fantastic. And if you can handle the heavy stuff, I mean, there's tons of great stuff there.
The problem with like Louisville, and we're not a small city. We've got 3 radio stations, and they're all classic rock. I don't even listen to the radio anymore. It's like, dude, if I hear that Bon Jovi or Sweet Child of Mine one more time, I'm just gonna fucking cry.
Mhm. But you know what? As long as you can find the stuff. I mean, I gave up on terrestrial radio when satellite radio came out. I mean, I've got something that's specifically alternative rock or something, right? Yeah, and you were in my arms. So just don't even talk about it, Beesman. Him and I are easy lovers, both of us.
That's a good song.
It is. I'm going to actually do a cover of that on our channel, I think. Pull out my inner Luke and try and go for it. But yeah, there like you said, Hack. There's tons of great music out there. There really is. There's lots of shitty music, but that was always the case, even when we were growing up.
Even back then, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So gear, is there anything that you guys are excited about, or?
Well, I'm waiting on my Vailton, and just playing around with that thing, and it looks like it's completely idiot proof, so I should be able to work it. So,
Does it have a software editor?
you can do everything on the unit. You can plug it into your computer, and there is software that comes with it, so you can make the adjustments on your computer, or you can just make them right on the unit.
That's what I don't like about the headrush thing. Is there's no computer editor that's...
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah. Now, this is the MX-5, so it's not the big one. The big one does have the software, and people, like in the MX-5 forums, people that just keep crying, why don't you come out with an editor? Come on. I mean...
That's essential with any of this stuff.
Oh, God. I mean, yeah, it's got a touchscreen. That's great, and it's... I still have issues. But you all know, if I can't figure it out in 15 seconds, I'm ready to throw it through the window.
I never would have gotten into Fractal Universe if it wasn't for the editor. The editor makes it so much.
Well, I told you, the Digitech, if it wasn't for the editor, I'd have thrown that thing out. The editor was so easy to use, it just made it made all the difference in the world.
The problem is you're starting with shit, and no matter what you do, it ends up kind of that way.
Yeah.
The MX-5 sounds much better.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all don't lie very well. Somebody said Quinn could play through like the whole rack full of stuff, and it still sound like the Digi do. I really think a lot of it is this and how you pick. Because this is a 1.14, and I hit real hard. I think it's the way I angle my pick that gives you a specific kind of tone. But oh, you hear Reggie and Todd? Yeah, they're happy now that I got the kitchen ceiling fixed, and they're not upstairs anymore. They're watching football right now.
Nice. What part of Canada are you from, Hack?
I'm in Toronto.
Right. I was born there.
Oh, yeah. Where you at now?
West Coast, Vancouver.
Oh, so you don't get winter over there.
Yeah,
it's just starting here.
It's 5 degrees here, and that's cold enough for me.
Yeah.
What up?
No, it's a good time to be a guitar player, guys. It really is. I mean,
totally.
So much stuff to make our lives easier. I mean, remember daisy chaining Boss pedals off your tuner to whatever it was, and where's this hum coming from? And oh my God, all that stuff we had to do back then.
I remember my first pedal.
Yeah, well, I got
was. Go ahead. What?
You were just saying you started talking about your first pedal and you stopped.
Oh, I told you to go ahead, but my first pedal was a LPB linear power booster. That was like one of the first pedals that came out. Granted, I had a Fender Super Twin, so no distortion. Then I got a big muff. But man, it wasn't really till I got the ADA MP1 and
shit.
Digitech and Rocktron. I went out the whole rack in the 80s like everybody else did, and then it was like just going back to a tube head, a tube screamer, and a crybaby, and it's kind of like there it is. All right.
Yeah, I told this story before, but I went out and I bought the MP1 and the power amp, the Mesa, was it the Mesa or the Marshall power amp, and the 412,
yeah.
and I brought it home, and that was it. I was done. I went back and I traded it in for an 800 and SD one. That was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've got 2 pedal boards. Like got the big board that's got, I don't know, 10 or 11 pedals on it. That's when I've got a big enough. If the place I'm playing is big enough and I can use that, that's what I'll use. And then if I play the real tiny places, I get this little mini board that holds about 5 pedals.
Nice.
But those pedals, I've been cycling through pedals. You know how it is. You find one you like, and then wait a minute, but then you hear one that sounds better than that one, and then you just change that pedal, and it's
That
like a
rabbit hole.
constant evolution. Like if I actually every once in a while, like at a gig, I'll take a picture of the pedal board that I'm using at the moment because I know a year from now some of those pedals won't be there anymore. But man, and I don't have any fancy switching or nothing. I just do the tap dance. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
All you need, really.
I mean, I've I mean, as far right now today, those pedals through my in the front of my Marshall, like that's just, I love that sound. It just sounds so good. Sounds so good.
Yep.
You know?
But I mean, that's the thing. We're always tweaking and looking, and
yeah.
Our eyes are open. That's part of what we do. I mean, it's part of our DNA. But at the end of the day, I mean, we end up pretty much back with the same mod effects, the same drive effects, and you're either a Marshall guy or you're a Mesa guy or you're,
Yeah.
and that's where you end up, right? However you get there is part of the journey.
Well, everybody's got a sound in their head that they want, right? I want this clean sound. I want this crunchy sound. I want this heavy sound. And then you just go through all the permutations until you find the right guitar, the right amp, the right pedal that gives you what you want,
The best thing I've found,
that's the journey.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that I've found that's really helped with that is getting into the fractal gear. Because to me, the amp modeling and all that stuff is what it is. And it's, to me anyways, it's probably some of the best out there. But I use it with my live rig for effects. And the effects are fantastic. I've had the Eventide stuff. I've had all these high-end stuff. And this stuff does it great. So if I hear something like Pete Thorne comes out with something, oh my God, that's the best sound I've ever heard in my head. Okay, what is it? And I'll go into and have the editor, right? So it's easy. I'll go in and I'll pull it as a rotary or something like that, right? I'll put it up. And sure as shit, it's there. So it's kind of killed that gas for pedals, right?
Yeah.
Anything on the modulation or delay or any of that sort of thing, it belongs in the digital realm. It always has, really. I mean, it started with the SD 3000s and how great those things were.
I had the 1000 because the 3000 was too much money.
Exactly, right? But for dirt pedals and stuff, I still believe the analog world is
analog. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to find a good dirt sound out of a multi effects or
you can't. Maybe you can, but for me, it's just no. I've got a version of a Klon here that's still hardwired in, and an old Cali 76 compressor. Can't beat those things, right?
That's why the big guys still use a tube screamer or an SD1 or a rat pedal because it's that tone they had years ago, and
it's idiot proof, right? Like if StreamYard's not working well, or if the room's not working well, I can reach down and pull back the fucking gain, or I can push it up, or I can pull the tone.
Well, I was just going to say that, right? Like one thing I like about the pedals, and all my pedals are like just the, old style, stupid, simple pedals with, a push button switch and maybe 3 knobs on it. Yeah. That's all I want. I don't want anything more than that.
Yeah.
Because I don't do a lot of that shoegazy atmospheric stuff. So
right,
like when I look at those Eventides and those, the fancy delays and the reverbs and all that kind of stuff, and It's that shit just puts me off, man. Give me a carbon copy with 2 knobs on it. That's all I want.
And you know what?
So and I don't use any of that stuff either, right? Like I've never been, again, it depends on what sound you have in your head and what you're trying to achieve, right? And I've never been into like, like it's more or less like straight guitar, maybe some chorus
yeah,
here and there on certain things, the
but
delay.
You're a gigging musician who's out there, right? And
Yeah, I don't have
any
I don't have a spot for that stuff.
any of this shit does not matter. Like for the stuff that I'm doing with these guys here, it is all about the soundscape, right? So we put things in a stereo spectrum. So if you're listening with headphones, it goes around and this and that and all, which is cool. But I mean, it's practical for this application. In a live gig, I would have the head first or the plexi, 3 pedals on and that's it. There's no need for anything else, really.
Yeah.
Like you said, right? A drive, a chorus, and maybe a delay, and what else?
Like, I mean, on my big board, that's all I have on there is I've got, of course, a tuner. I got a wah pedal on there, which I use for like one song. And then it's just, I don't like to just pedals. I mean, I set them and forget them. So I got 2 drive pedals, a lighter and a heavier drive, a clean boost. I don't like compressors. I prefer to use a clean boost.
I've never used a compressor.
A delay, a chorus, reverb.
Yep.
And then on the end of the chain, and I learned this from JG's House of Jams. He said, get an EP booster.
Yeah.
Don't even turn it up. Just turn it on and have it at 0. And that's at the end of the chain. And that thing, I don't know what the hell it does, but it's some kind of voodoo magic that when you turn that thing on, your amp, it just comes to life. It's like you take a blanket off it. And
that's always on, right? You never turn that off.
Always on. And then the very last thing is my lead boost, and right now I'm using a Wampler Tumnus, one of those mini ones. That thing's worked out great. That's a good little,
they're great.
Good little boost pedal. And my favorite is like I use a Friedman small. Is it a small box or a Dirty Shirley? It's one of those. They're almost the same pedal, actually. They're very similar.
Yeah.
And for the heavier stuff and then the lighter stuff, this pedal is for me, and I've been through, God, at least half a dozen pedals trying to find like a really nice crunch sound, like something you would use on, when I play the 70s stuff like Kiss or Cheap Trick or whatever, where you want just a little bit of crunch. The best pedal I've come across is the Wampler Euphoria, man. That pedal just blows my freaking mind how good it is. One thing and Quentin knows this, like when I turn on the pedal, I got to have that chunk, gunk. And then I know, okay, that's a good sounding pedal. Yeah. And I get the chunk with that. And apparently I read somewhere that it was him trying to do like a Dumble type sounding pedal. Yeah. I mean, I don't know Dumble from, who the hell's played a Dumble? Like, Joe Bonamassa and 2 other guys, right? But that pedal is, for me, is just the absolute best. I've tried everything, man. Pure Skies, and I even put the Tube Screamers in there and all this stuff. That none of it does it like that pedal.
Brian has done a really great job with Wampler in the segment, right? It gets out of the bulk barn of Boss and those kind of pedals, and he's got great ears, and what he puts out is reasonably priced, and it does what it says it's going to do. That's all. I mean, I ran a Pantheon for years, like a Bluesbreaker type pedal, right?
Right.
And that was, that covered everything from the King of Tone all the way up to like JTM 45 tones. And it was great. Absolutely. I mean, it doesn't work with a Plexi because I don't need it, but it's kind of, with Brian, with Wampler, it does what it says on the tin.
Yeah.
And they're reasonably priced, and it's worth it to me.
Yeah.
He's got a great sweet spot in the market.
The only pedal of his I had that I didn't like was one of my first sort of for heavier drives. I bought one of those Pinnacles.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like that pedal.
That's
I
an
got rid of
either
that one.
or. Yeah, that's an either or kind of thing. I think.
Yeah, I wasn't crazy about that, but like I said, the Euphoria. Right now, I've got 2 Wamplers pedals on the board, and for reverb, the Hall of Fame, the TC Electronic stuff is good for the flashback delay is a great pedal.
Right.
Which the mine broke, so now I'm using a carbon copy. I love their little tuners. They're nice and bright,
Yeah.
because sometimes we play outdoor stuff, and
Oh, yeah.
shit, man.
Yes.
You can't
That's
see a
always
freaking
good.
tuner when and those things are nice and bright, and you can see whether you're in or not.
Right.
Yeah, those are cool pedals.
And it's all
Yeah.
unique, right? Because I haven't had great luck with TC stuff at all.
Oh, really?
No, I tried the Hall of Fame. I tried the whatever their delay pedal is. I can't remember. Flashback, 2 of them, right? And the noise, and it just didn't
Oh,
work.
really?
Yeah.
I've never had that.
That's it's a weird thing. I mean, but you know what? If it works, it works. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, what's really cool that I like a lot, and I didn't think it would work, but I need a wah, and I didn't want to put a wah on the side of I wanted it on the board,
Right.
and I bought one of those little mini crybabies.
And
Those things are fantastic.
is it good?
Your foot,
Yeah.
oh yeah, so your foot. I mean, it's not as long as your foot, but it's still you put your heel where at the edge of it, and you don't even notice it.
Right.
No, that's that's a great little pedal as well.
Sanders got a question. I would have to say a good tuner with nowadays with I think 3/4 of the pedal needs to be the letter, right? It needs to be able to be good outside as well as inside, but a tuner pedal, oh, come on. Yeah. Live, I would never use a headstock tuner.
Well, I use a headstock tuner when I use the little board because I don't have room to put a tuner on there. So I do the headstock thing, but I take it off and stick it on the mic stand, so it's not on the guitar.
You still got to go in the back with your tuning fork, right? Whack it on something, and okay.
Those have gotten really good, though. Those headstock tuners, right?
Those snarks, don't leave home without it.
Right. I'm a
snarks
big,
are great.
Strobo Stomp guy.
Yeah,
I've got the Strobo Stomp for my main thing here, and then
that's also good enough for like setting intonation and
yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that's another level of pedal.
The clip-on one, and my son, he's 14 now, and he's trying to play Chop Suey from System of a Down on an acoustic
there's
guitar.
a great band.
So I gave him my my blue guitar, my blue Strat, and he's and the tuner there, and he's working away on it, and he's making good progress. Every week he comes in, he's like, "Here's this," and I'll correct his picking hand or whatever it is, but
I got one of those.
He's got the sickness.
That's challenging stuff to play too. That System of Down stuff.
That's what I said to him. I said, "Man, you're batting way above your."
That's good though. He's pushing.
Go for it. Yeah, exactly.
For my acoustic, I got one of those TC. I'm not going to get one of those $10 tuners. So it's like $60, the TC electronic. Oh, wait, hold on. There's Mr. Steve right there. Spank with a dump truck. I'd be picking fights. Yeah, I told everybody we parted ways because of that deviled egg comment. Apparently, he really does not care for deviled eggs at all. Apparently, eggs at all.
Oh, eggs altogether.
Oh, yeah.
I love eggs.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
So are you primarily a Strat guy, John?
I can't find... I love the sound of a Les Paul, but I can't deal with the scale length and that issue between the B and the G string. The tuning, it just drives me crazy.
Dude, I think the whole thing with that is if your nut slot is properly cut.
Yeah, I don't have that issue with any of mine, honestly, and I'm not just saying that because.
And I'm not saying no. I'm not saying that you're wrong, but a lot of guys tell me that they don't have that issue and they hit a D chord and I want to throw up. And I'm super sensitive to that For some, the
Dude.
older I get, the worse it gets.
Let me tell you a story. Let me tell you.
Tell me.
Same thing. I would have so many people play a G cowboy chord and then play a D chord, and that G sharp, that A note would be sharp, and I'm like, dude, play your G chord again. Now play the D chord. Don't press so fucking hard with your first finger. And every time they would go, oh, okay. It was that first finger that people, when they played the D chord, they pressed too hard with their first finger.
Right.
Very common. Yeah, same thing. I would hear that all the time. Like, what's wrong with my guitar? It's not
But
your
the
guitar,
Les-
it's your first finger.
Yeah, the Les Paul look and tone.
Oh, yeah.
All over it, man.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
I played my Super Strat because it did everything, right?
Yep.
And, you know, it didn't weigh 12 pounds, but sometimes I just had to pull out the custom, man, just because. You know.
And for me, my whole life, I played Strat style guitars. So
I've always
it's
played, the first 10 years, 15 years, I was Gibson.
Right.
I had an SG, an Explorer, and my custom. I hated Strats. I'm like, first of all, why did you put that volume knob right there?
I love it.
But
love
after
it.
I got
Exactly
used to
what
it, I'm like, this is the greatest placement of a volume knob ever, and Hack is about to throw up.
I have one Strat.
Now I got,
But
if
yeah.
I'm playing a Les Paul, I got to whoop out the GPS on my phone to find the volume knob.
No, my whole life, I've played Strats. And that's the 5-way switch and where the volume knob is. You could fuck off with the tone knobs as far as I'm concerned.
Oh yeah, I think they just put those in there to balance out the look of it.
Yeah, something.
And you prefer the Sir stuff over the Fender stuff, right?
100%. It's night and day difference.
Yeah, yeah. I played I played Sir Strats.
Yeah.
And they were phenomenal. And the Sir Telly.
I played two Tellys. I didn't like
really
them.
good.
Yeah. Yeah, really
Sir
good.
Telly's
And
nice.
that's their thing, right? I mean, a lot of guys have 15 guitars. I have 3. I have 2 Sirs and a parts guitar.
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm a rich guy doing what do they call it? The blues lawyer thing.
Oh yeah.
It's I researched and I saved, and I'm, this guitar will be buried with me. I love this thing. 100%. I've got a Pete Thorne signature, and it's up for sale. I want to get another one of these.
Wow.
Which Pete Thorne have you got?
The first one, the standard. So
Is it
it's
two-
hang
two
on a second here.
humbuckers?
I'll show you. Yeah.
I'll grab my Strat. My only Strat.
I'll grab my Tom Anderson. Oh boy.
Oh, okay. The 2 humbuckers. Yeah.
Now it's a 3-way or a 5-way, John?
5, and it's got a push pull here,
4.
so you can take the pickups in parallel down here, so
Ah.
you kind of get the telly thing.
Mm.
It's a great guitar. I love it, but it's a hot rodder's guitar, and I'm a Strat guy with a humbucker in the ass end.
Dave, I was watching that too. I'm like, it's gonna fall over. Oh my god.
The good thing is it always has a soft landing.
Yeah, that's true. People always bitch about, the Gibson, you go snap the headstock. I had my Les Paul for 30 years. Never came close to dropping it because when I was standing on stage, I had strap locks, but I never let go of the neck. Never. It's like a $3,000 piece of furniture. Why would you knock it over?
To Chesterfield.
Yeah.
Isn't Charles on here pretty quick?
I don't know. Yeah, it's 4 after 10, so we're gonna go.
Yeah.
So Steve will be back next week and maybe sometime this week. Sometimes we just go on to piddle around and But thanks for Guitar Hack and John for. I messaged them like half an hour before we came on, and
I didn't sleep through it.
yeah, I'm never going to hear the end of
awesome,
that.
Awesome to chat with you, Hack. I've heard
nice talking to you.
Great things from Q about you, and I've seen you play, and it's nice to actually meet.
Yeah, sometimes the best part is just coming on here and shooting the shit about whatever.
I can talk gear all night.
Yeah. But I messaged, like I said, I messaged Randy Price. He's sick. Said something to Ryan. He's just chilling with his family for Thanksgiving, which is that. Dude, thanks for at least no biggie. It was last minute thing. Hey, y'all want to come on and make me not look so stupid?
I was talking with Randy earlier today, and I was like, "Fuck, I've missed playing, right? Because we usually do 3 shows a week,
right? Yeah."
So I was thinking, after Charles, maybe we go on for an hour and just jam. But yeah, he's fighting something.
So you call the Canadian guys who had Thanksgiving a month ago to save your ass.
Exactly.
Yeah, the check's in the mail. It'll be American money though. So.
Oh, I can retire.
Well, that $4.99 we got from Boner Jams, we'll split it 3 ways.
Exactly.
Put a down payment on a house with that.
Well, shit, there's Guitar Man coming in. We're just going home. So
we're just going over to see Chuck Verde.
Yeah, Chuck Verde. All right, kids, we're gonna head out. Everybody in the chat, thanks for coming in, and
thanks for having me, man. It was
thank you.
Charles Green, is that where we're going?
I'm going over to Charles's show. Yeah.
All right, everybody, do a what do we call it? A Q raid, a GTU raid over Charles Green. All right.
All right.
Peace out.
Good night.
Thanks, kids. Thank you.